The Axis powers led by Germany, Japan, and Italy pursued an aggressive expansionist policy across Europe, Africa, and the Pacific. Japan in particular expanded rapidly throughout Southeast Asia, capturing territories such as the Philippines, Malaya, Burma, and Indonesia. During this expansion, the Imperial Japanese Army committed horrific war crimes, including the Nanjing Massacre and the mistreatment of prisoners of war. However, Japan's momentum was halted in 1942 after the United States achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of Midway, crippling Japan's naval strength and shifting the balance of power in the Pacific. Meanwhile, in North Africa, Germany and Italy suffered a significant defeat against British and Allied forces at the Battle of El Alamein in late 1942. This marked a turning point in the North African campaign, leading to the eventual expulsion of Axis forces from the continent. Shortly after, in 1943, the Allies launched Operation Torch, landing in Morocco and Algeria, forcing Axis forces into retreat and securing the Mediterranean for future invasions. In Europe, the collapse of Mussolini's fascist regime in 1943 led to Italy switching sides. The Allies invaded Sicily and then mainland Italy, prompting Germany to seize control of the country to prevent its full defection. Fierce fighting ensued as the Allies pushed up the Italian peninsula, facing heavy German resistance at locations like Monte Cassino and Anzio. On the Eastern Front, the Soviet Union, initially struggling against the German invasion, launched a series of counteroffensives. The Battle of Stalingrad, fought between August 1942 and February 1943, became the deadliest battle of the war and marked the beginning of Germany's decline in the East. Soviet forces gradually pushed German troops back across Eastern Europe, reclaiming lost territory and marching toward Germany. In June 1944, the long-awaited Western Front offensive began with the D-Day invasion. American, British, and Canadian forces launched the largest seaborne assault in history, landing on the beaches of Normandy in northern France. This marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. As the Allies advanced through France, they liberated Paris in August 1944 and continued pushing toward the German border. At the same time, strategic bombing campaigns intensified, targeting German industrial centers and weakening their ability to continue fighting. As 1945 began, Allied forces pressed in on Germany from both the east and the west. In April, the Soviet Red Army launched its final offensive against Berlin, capturing the city after brutal urban combat. Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his bunker on April 30th, and Germany surrendered unconditionally on May 8, 1945, marking the end of the war in Europe. In the Pacific, the United States and its allies, including Australia and China, launched a brutal island-hopping campaign to reclaim Japanese-held territories. Battles such as Iwo Jima and Okinawa in 1945 demonstrated Japan's fierce resistance and willingness to fight to the last man. Despite relentless aerial bombings that devastated Japanese cities, including Tokyo, Japan refused to surrender. In response, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. The unprecedented destruction, coupled with the Soviet invasion of Manchuria, forced Japan to surrender on September 2, 1945, officially ending World War II. The war was the deadliest and most widespread conflict in human history, resulting in an estimated 60 to 85 million deaths. The Soviet Union and China suffered the heaviest casualties, while the Holocaust orchestrated by Nazi Germany led to the genocide of 6 million Jewish people and millions of others, including Poles, Romani people, disabled individuals, and political dissidents. The aftermath of World War II reshaped the global order. The United Nations was established to promote peace and prevent future conflicts. Europe, devastated by war, sought greater political and economic integration, leading to the foundations of the European Union. The war also accelerated the collapse of colonial empires, triggering independence movements in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. However, as the world recovered, tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union escalated, ushering in the Cold War, a geopolitical struggle that would define global affairs for decades to come.